He'll send a Hellfire rocket down there. Tom Hogan on Trump bombing Mexico in a second term. Former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement under the Trump admin. Trump administration official here.
President Trump would declare him a terrorist organization. He would send a Hellfire rocket.
He's talking about the cartels.
Down there. He would take the cartels out because they need to be taken out because they killed over 100,000 Americans. This administration has held Mexico accountable. They haven't held China accountable for creating all the fentanyl they're selling to their...
How did Trump hold Mexico accountable? And how did Trump hold China accountable for the fentanyl? Oh, I can tell you that Biden actually, he's saying he's not holding him accountable for fentanyl. Didn't Biden just come to an agreement with Xi Jinping in, I think it was in San Francisco, they had a meeting over specifically a bunch of issues, but also fentanyl. And they came to an agreement that China would help stem the flow of fentanyl into the United States. I mean, did it go far enough? Probably not as much as we wanted, but it's the first time they've been able to get an agreement like that and a commitment like that. Now there's the question of whether they're going to follow up enforcing on the ground. There's been a few places already raided. Hopefully they continue to raid these places, but we'll have to wait and see.
The criminal cartels, this administration sitting back and watch this country get destroyed. We need President Trump back to save this great nation. He's a guy, and we need him back.
And so, Sarah...
Okay, let me just throw out there. How do you just bomb the cartels and it makes them go away? That's the solution to crime. So we go into Chicago, we find the gangs, we just like Hellfire missile them, just drone strike them, and then they just go away. I mean, remember when we just bombed Vietnam and then we won that war? And we took over and the Vietnam's like a prosperous liberal democracy now? Because we just endlessly bombed it? Or Afghanistan is another great example. The other one, we bombed the freedom into them. How does this work? You would need American troops on the ground in Mexico to enforce said regimen. You would have to have troops on the ground in these communities where the cartel were to flush them out, kill, capture their fighters, dismantle their armed forces, destroy their heavy equipment because they do have armored vehicles. They do have heavy equipment. They can fight a war. And then you, after crushing them, you have to enforce the law for years, helping it to stabilize the country with the Mexican authorities who are going to be essential for any effort to stabilize control in these areas. Because we are not going to have, I don't think the American public would support it, a forever war in Mexico against the cartels. I don't want to call it a forever war, but I mean, if you just are doing bombing raids, that's what it will be, because you won't get anything out of it. So my problem with a lot of these Republican plans is most of these plans that I see about how to fight the cartels in Mexico completely box out the Mexican government. As in, they kind of, either they take their support as a given, which it should not be a given because the Mexican authorities don't want American troops invading Mexico to fight the cartels. But not only is it a given in some of them, but some of them go even further and they say, no, it's not a given, but we don't care. We can do it without them. We can fight the cartels without the Mexican government, which is the most delusional bullshit I've ever heard in my life. You can't just bomb them out of existence. Other gangs will take their place. Dropping bombs doesn't create conditions where gangs don't exist. In fact, creating poverty and destruction and bombing things. I mean, like, look at Haiti. You destroy the country. You destroy tons of infrastructure, destroy the economy. I don't know how dropping bombs in and of itself is a solution to any Mexico's problems. And saying Hellfire missile them is the equivalent of just saying, hit them hard. That's the equivalent of what he just did on that stage. It's simple, dumb, and tailor-made for that audience.